Good evening. Welcome to the news at 4 on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Webo. Senator Natasha representing Kogi Central, officially resumed her legislative duties on Tuesday, entering the Senate chamber at exactly 11:42 a.m. after a 6-month suspension. Her return marked the end of a 6-month legal tussle and drama that has sparked mixed reactions from Nigerians. Leadership recalls that the upper legislative chamber had adjourned plenary on July 24 to proceed on its annual recess, initially scheduled to resume on September 23. However, according to a memo signed by the Chief of Staff to the Senate President Chinedu Akubweze and cited by Leadership Television on September 23, the resumption date was postponed to October 7. Akpoti-Uduaghan walked into the chamber and made her way to her designated seat, and after sitting down, exchanged pleasantries with a few fellow lawmakers. She was accompanied to the National Assembly by a number of civil society activists, including Bring Back Our Guest co-convener Aisha Yesufu, who was spotted observing proceedings from the Senate gallery. However, several of the Kogi Central Senator's supporters were reportedly denied entry into the gallery. Akpoti-Uduaghan's return followed a court ruling that declared a 6-month suspension excessive and unconstitutional. The Senate had earlier unsealed her office to pave the way for her return. Her resumption comes despite earlier resistance from the National Assembly management, which had maintained that she remained suspended pending the outcome of the ongoing litigation. The senator's suspension, first imposed on March 6, cut off her access to her office, security detail, and Senate duties and allowances. Despite the Senate President Godswill Akpabio's absence, the plenary saw a significant turnout of senators, signaling a full return to legislative activities. In a show of intentional solidarity, some senators arrived at the chamber dressed in Palestinian colors and attire, advocating for a free Palestine. In other news, the remains of some Tochukwu Christel Maduagu, a staff of Arise News channels who died after allegedly jumping from a 3-story building as a result of a robbery attack, will be buried on Saturday, October 18, 2025. According to the FCT Police Command's account, Somi, as she was fondly called by family, friends, and colleagues, jumped down from her apartment at the 3rd floor of Unique Estate in Kantape area of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, following the invasion of the estate by suspected armed robbers. A statement by the family indicated that the United Kingdom-trained lawyer cum journalist will be laid to rest after a funeral service at St. Teresa Catholic Church, Agulu, Anambra State. The statement stated that the service of songs will hold at the Corpus Christi Cathedral, Kaduna Street, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, on Wednesday, October 15, 2025. It will be recalled that Somi, a one-time first runner-up at Miss Tourism Nigeria pageant, left the United Kingdom after working for 2 years to return to Nigeria in order to fulfill her dreams. In other news, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has introduced new regulations capping daily cash out transactions for point-of-sale POS agents at 1.2 million naira, while limiting individual customer withdrawals to 100,000 naira per day. The directive, contained in our new guidelines for agent banking operations, was signed by Musa Jimo, the director of the Payment System Policy Department of the Apex Bank, and addressed to all deposit money banks, other financial institutions, and payment service providers. According to the CBN, the new framework, which takes immediate effect, aims to strengthen financial integrity, curb misuse, and safeguard consumer interests within Nigeria's growing agent banking network. POS agents are restricted to a maximum of 1.2 million naira per day. Individual customers are limited to 100,000 naira in daily transactions. These limits are intended to curb misuse, enhance financial integrity, and protect consumers within the agent banking framework, the circular stated. However, the Apex Bank noted that it reserves the right to adjust the limits from time to time in line with the Eastern CBN Guide to Charges for Banks and Other Financial Institutions in Nigeria. The new framework also mandated that all agent banking activities must be conducted only through dedicated accounts or wallets maintained by their principal financial institutions. The use of non-designated accounts for agent operations is now strictly prohibited, with violators facing sanctions. To enhance transparency and traceability, The CBN directed that all POS terminals must be geo-fenced, restricting operations strictly to registered business locations. The bank reiterated its August 25 directive mandating all POS devices to be geo-tagged within 60 days with a compliance deadline of October 20, 2025. The CBN explained that this move was necessitated by rising cases of fraudulent POS transactions nationwide. The new framework also introduces stricter accountability measures. Agents found guilty of fraud, misconduct, or other offenses will be held personally liable, face termination, and may be placed on an industry watch list. Principals, including banks and licensed payment providers, are now required to publish and regularly update their list of authorized agents on their official websites and in their branches. Super agents who are responsible for managing other agents must also operate with at least 50 agents spread across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones, ensuring access to financial services in rural and underserved areas. The new rule set out stringent eligibility criteria for prospective agents. Any person or entity with a non-performing loan within the past 12 months, a watch-listed BVN, or a record of financial misconduct is barred from participating in agent banking. Prospective agents must demonstrate their capability to perform key financial services such as cash deposits, withdrawals, and bill payments. They must also provide all mandatory documentation, obtain relevant authorizations, and if individuals be at least 18 years old and of sound mind. The guidelines further require principals, banks, super agents, and payment service providers to conduct comprehensive due diligence on potential agents, including checks on credit history, criminal background, source of funds, and business address verification. A United States Congressman, Rep. Riley M. Moore, has called on President Donald Trump to immediately redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern, CPC, over what he described as the systematic persecution and slaughter of Christians in the country. In a letter dated October 6, 2025, and addressed to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the West Virginia lawmaker urged the U.S. government to suspend all arms sales and related technical support to Nigeria until the government demonstrates that it's sufficiently committed to ending the reign of persecution and slaughter. Moore alleged that between January and September 2025 alone, over 7,000 Christians were killed by what he termed Muslim extremist groups, while at least 250 Catholic priests have been attacked or killed since 2015. He further claimed that between the onset of the Boko Haram uprising in 2009 and 2025, no fewer than 19,100 churches have been attacked or destroyed across Nigeria. The Nigerian government has failed to protect its Christian population from sustained and coordinated attacks. Until there is verifiable action to end these atrocities, the U.S. must not continue supplying arms or military support, Moore wrote. The lawmakers' demand comes amid renewed international attention on religious violence in Nigeria. During his first term in office, President Trump had redesignated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, a status reversed by his successor, former President Joe Biden. Prominent American figures, including Senator Ted Cruz, talk show host Bill Maher, and political commentator Van Jones, have also described the situation in Nigeria as a Christian genocide. Speaking recently on Maher's podcast, Senator Cruz alleged that Christians in Nigeria were being systematically targeted and killed, describing the wave of attacks as genocide. However, the federal government of Nigeria dismissed the allegations, insisting that the country's security challenges were not religiously motivated. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and public communications, Sunday Dare, in a statement on Monday, described the claims as false, misleading, and capable of inciting division. These foreign commentators are orchestrating wide allegations about an unproven ongoing genocide in Nigeria, Dare said. We urge Nigerians and the international community to reject attempts to robe the country with a garment that is not ours. He maintained that the Nigerian government remained committed to tackling insecurity in all forms and protecting citizens irrespective of their faith. That concludes the news at 4 on Leadership Television. For more, log in to www.leadership.ng. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.